Today I want to talk to you about a special topic that is forgiveness. And why do I want to talk about this? Well, it has come up for me recently, and I've noticed that the spiritual experience of forgiveness has very little to do with our current English definition of forgiveness. And I realize that this discrepancy is actually preventing people from living with light hearts, and it's keeping negativity attached to people unnecessarily. And so first we're going to clarify what forgiveness is, and then we're going to talk about what it looks like in astrology. So first of all, forgiveness, for me, is the experience of your heart releasing pain and other negative experiences that weigh your heart down. Period. Notice that definition has nothing to do with resolving or absolving people of their bad decisions or pardoning anybody. It has nothing to do with how other people are pardoned. It has everything to do with how we move forward unencumbered by the negativity we've experienced. So this is not about other people controlling us, specifically offenders controlling us or whatever. So imagine when you forgive yourself of something, it's usually after you've faced some sort of consequence or lesson, you've analyzed what you've done, there's been some conclusion, and you recognize what you can do to prevent that from happening. You forgive somebody else. It's when you no longer feel like being burdened by them. And if somebody wants or asks for your forgiveness, what they're basically saying is, I'm aware that I've hurt you with one or more actions, and I want your heart to be freed of this burden that I've put on you by putting you into this distressing situation. Not for their sake, but for the sake of your healing, they're apologizing. And that's what it should be. It's not about manipulating people like it's been made out to be. I feel like that was used as a weapon of control against the masses, to be honest. Of course, it takes time and processing. We don't immediately forgive somebody after they've done something horrible to us. We need to take our processing time, and eventually we're able to let that shit go naturally. And so it's a process of both grace and deliberate thinking. So essentially, when you ask for someone's forgiveness, what you're really doing is admitting sin, for lack of a better word, just bad decision making, even if it was only a lack of carelessness. Yeah. So that's what you need to know about forgiveness for the moment. Now we need to talk about the astrology chart. So I want you to picture in your head an astrology wheel. I'm looking at it in front of me. It's imaginary, okay? No, just look at you. Okay, so I have 1 through 6 houses, okay? These are more like personal things, all about you. Then 7 through 12 is more like how you deal with others, the outside world, etc. And forgiveness usually involves 2 parties, either 2 versions of yourself or you with other people, right? And so what happens is in the 7th house, we usually have some open enemies, okay? These enemies then can betray you in the 8th house. When we get to the 9th house, which is the house of Jupiter, Sagittarius, whatever, when we get there, that's the part of higher learning. And this is psychology. So this is how we psychoanalyze ourselves and the other person involved. And it is sort of the first deliberate action we take to come up with some sort of logical conclusion or resolution that we can function properly. Now we've made logical sense of things and we can move on and go about our lives. We're not necessarily fully healed in our body and soul from this aggression or transgression, whatever you want to call it. So we live our lives, and then when we get to the 11th house, the Aquarian energy, we start to recognize how that person's decisions and our decisions are sort of mirroring each other. And so that's when you start to recognize yourself and the other person, and you're no longer so angry at them, but you may still feel the pain of whatever's happened. It doesn't happen until we get into the 12th house that we're able to fully shed the burden. And this is where that element of grace comes in. It's like we've decided to move past something. It's taking a while. And then eventually we're able to shed that skin. We're able to come to some sort of enlightenment, or the hand gently removes itself from us, in the sense that we somehow divinely have let go of that burden. We're no longer cursed with the negativity. The 12th house is the house of undoing, after all, so we're shedding the skin, we're starting over, we're preparing for new life. And so in the 12th house is typically where we're able to really fully let go so that we can be ready for the new life. But if you don't do things properly, then you may have to repeat the cycle over and over again, which happens a lot. Keep in mind that forgiveness is rather simple in the sense that it does not permanently resolve anything. It is simply allowing us to experience life in a different ways with a more open and free heart. This is where I want to start talking about Chiron, because obviously Chiron is going to have something to do with that. Who is Chiron? The wounded healer. So, wherever your Chiron is, sorry, oh my God, the high-pitched voice, I'm so sorry, guys. Wherever you have Chiron is where you're probably going to need to forgive folks over and over again. So if I have Chiron in Libra, I may have to forgive individuals within networks and groups of people so that I can get what I want to get from my life, right? So that I can enjoy people and things and live my life to the fullest, I will need to forgive maybe some parties, some collectives that may have gone against me. And these sort of people you may want to be careful of and just be aware, they might do something that requires your forgiveness. Or you need to be careful about how you behave, because you may need to be forgiven by groups of people. I feel like the ways in which you experience forgiveness and how you want to respond as somebody who is forgiving has a lot to do with Jupiter. Because I have Jupiter in Capricorn, which is one of the most unforgiving signs. Like, okay, you fuck up once, you're late to work, like chop, right? That's the kind of Capricornian energy. So when you have a planet like Jupiter there, it makes me quite reluctant to having people come back in my life who have betrayed me or done me dirty. So this is very much how I handle people I need to forgive. It's like, I forgive you. I will probably be honest with you and kind with you. And also, I probably don't want to see you. It's happened before where an acquaintance said some fucked up shit to me in about a 3-minute conversation. I think he was drunk and it was on accident. But it was so negative and horrible for me that I just never wanted to see that person again. And it's not that I, want to hate him, but like, I cannot help but never want to see him again. And I'm trying to release all that and stuff like that. But yeah, it can be hard. So you can look, I think, at your Jupiter sign and whatever, and you can see how you are going to handle these things that you need to forgive. In contrast, I think when you need to be forgiven because you messed up, it has more to do with Saturn. So I have Saturn in Aries. I don't want to tell you guys my whole chart. I know it's boring for some of you who don't have these placements. But I have Saturn in Aries. And so shit catches fire real fast and it burns down immediately. There's no like calm, hey, can you explain why you said that? Or, oh, I feel like you did that. Like, there's no gentle conversation. Like, people, it just explodes into a million pieces, and then I have to run for cover so I don't get hit by the debris, by the exploding body parts of the relationship, That is kind of how it goes for me if I mess up. And so that's okay. That just has something to do with how you can expect people to react when shit goes down. We all fuck up in life, and we're gonna have to forgive ourselves and each other, but really understand that we need to be compassionate. It is a hard world. We are not all perfect. We all have phases going on. We are all probably exhausted. I know right now it's eclipse season, so we are exhausted, and it's okay. Have compassion for yourself and your brothers and sisters, and that is what I have to say about forgiveness. Bye.